Hey guys, Flex Football Observer here, bringing you another transfer talk video. You know the drill by now. I round up some of the biggest confirmed deals and some of the biggest rumours that are out there. But of course, this is going to be a different type of video for transfer talk because yesterday was deadline day, and therefore this is going to be a roundup of some of the biggest deals that happened on deadline day. And boy, were there some pretty big deals that were officially confirmed and that took place on that day. Before we continue though, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. Both things will always be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get into the video. Let's face it, there is only one place to begin, and that is with arguably the biggest transfer that took place yesterday, and it concerned Thomas Partey joining Arsenal. It was a classic race against time deadline day type of deal. We all knew of Arsenal's rumoured interest in the midfielder beforehand, but nothing seemed to be happening with it. Then, with the hours ticking down, the deal suddenly sprang into life and Arsenal had agreed to meet Partey's release clause of £45 million. And within the remaining hours of the transfer window, Arsenal managed to finalise the deal and tie him down to a long-term contract. This guy is an absolute baller. This guy is a ball carrier, an absolute engine in the middle of the park, and doesn't mind getting stuck in and helping control the midfield battle. He's definitely someone that Arsenal have been crying out for a long time, and with that, it goes without saying that he's someone to get excited about, especially, of course, if you're an Arsenal fan, that is. The bottom line here is that deadline day saw Arsenal do some surprising business, but exciting business nonetheless, in signing Thomas Partey. However, with the addition of Partey, there were a couple of departures from the Emirates and Arsenal yesterday. The first we're going to be talking about is Matteo Guendouzi, who has joined Hertha Berlin on loan for the rest of the season. Guendouzi, of course, has fallen out of favour at Arsenal ever since his famous outburst at Neil Maupay when Arsenal lost 2-1 to Brighton last season. Maybe a loan spell abroad will give him the opportunity to grow and mature a little bit before coming back and seeing where his future may lie, whether it may be with the Gunners or maybe elsewhere. And the second major departure from Arsenal yesterday came in the form of Lucas Torreira. He's off in the opposite direction to Partey as he is leaving Arsenal for Atletico Madrid. Torreira is off to Atletico Madrid on a season-long loan, and it's understandable as to why this came about. If you remember, of course, he came into Arsenal back in 2018, and initially, he looked great. He looked like he would be the solid and tenacious midfielder that the Gunners have been desperately needing in the middle of the pitch for some time. However, last season, a slight tweak to his position under Unai Emery, a number of injuries, and seemingly not having the full backing of Mikel Arteta saw his season not quite hit the same mark that it did when he initially came in. Although for a few of those reasons, of course, not entirely all his own fault. A move away could be good for him, to get away from the pressure of Arsenal and be under a manager who will know exactly how to use him in a system he looks like he could very well suit to the best of their ability. For our next story, we come to the story of how Edinson Cavani has signed for Manchester United. It's a story that had been developing over the weekend, but finally, Edinson Cavani has signed for Manchester United on a one-year deal. The Uruguay striker became a free agent since the end of last season, and whilst there were rumoured interest from elsewhere, it's Manchester United who have snapped up his signature. Edinson Cavani dressed up as a free agent, but I don't believe there's no such thing really. When you consider agent fees and wages alone, they were said to be a hefty amount of those within this deal. So it is as close to a free transfer as you're going to get, but them fees and things kind of take it a little bit further than that. But Cavani does bring with him a wealth of experience in playing the game and winning trophies, as well as a killer goal scoring ability and killer goal scoring instinct. And he possesses the ability to play anywhere across the forward line, which I think is going to be valuable to this Manchester United team. Look, this was clearly not United's first choice. Clearly because there's no transfer fee to haggle over, as they have for every other piece of business they've attempted to do in this window. Otherwise, they would have brought him in as soon as he was set to leave PSG when his contract expired. It's not a terrible piece of business, as it's a close to a free signing as you're going to get, as I've previously explained. Cavani will certainly have something to offer within this squad, but when you were promised the likes of Jadon Sancho, and you see that your club buy a guy who's closer to the end of his career than at the beginning as an alternative, because they're looking to save money, you can understand why United fans may feel a little bit of anger and frustration towards maybe this deal and maybe other deals, and definitely to the board regardless of who else they brought in, especially given how their rivals have all gone about doing their business over the summer as well. Regardless, we wait and see how Cavani fares in the Premier League at his age and his time of his career. United were certainly busy yesterday, and another name that came through at Old Trafford is the subject of our next story. They had a very busy deadline day, as I previously mentioned, not only bringing in Cavani, but they also confirmed the signing of Alex Telles from Porto. This, of course, was a story that was floating around for weeks, and in growing trend of United, it was all about haggling over a transfer fee that seemed to be the major stumbling block. But over the weekend, significant progress was made, a fee was agreed between both parties, and yesterday the deal was officially confirmed. It's being said that the initial fee is around 15.4 million, with the fee possibly rising due to add-ons, and it's being said that he will sign a 4-year deal with the possibility of extending a further year due to a clause within his contract. It's being said that he's an upgrade on what United already have there in Brandon Williams and Luke Shaw, although I would expect Williams as a right-footed player to possibly be used to cover Aaron Wan-Bissaka this season in right-back more over the course of the campaign. But Telles clearly strengthens an area United have been looking to strengthen over the duration of this transfer window. And sticking with the theme of United for our next story, as well as additions yesterday, there was one major departure that was very much on the cards for a while, and that was, of course, Chris Smalling. Last season, he spent the campaign on loan with Roma. Well, this summer, they've made his loan move into a permanent one. The fee is said to be in the region of £80 million, and it's said that he's signed a 3-year deal with the option for an extra year. The England defender seemed to resurrect his career a little whilst in Serie A last season. Maybe it will continue following his permanent move to Roma for the foreseeable future. Switching gears now to Everton, who made a very early deadline day move as they confirmed the signing of Ben Godfrey from Norwich. The Toffees have signed Godfrey from Norwich for a fee believed to be in the region of £20 million and have tied him down to a 5-year contract. The 22-year-old was a bright spark in an otherwise dark and gloomy season for Norwich last campaign, and he was very much a man in demand over the course of this transfer window, reportedly attracting interest from across Europe, including Serie A and the Bundesliga, and of course the Premier League. But it's the Toffees who have managed to sign him, and the centre-back becomes Everton's 5th major signing of this summer. Clearly an area that needed strengthening, and a young prospect like him will be a welcome addition to what Carlo Ancelotti is building over at Goodison Park, and I'm sure he will be a very good addition to the perfect start that Everton have made to the brand new season. And sticking with Everton, it was seemingly 1 in, 1 out, as Southampton have signed Theo Walcott on a season-long loan from the Toffees. The England winger is back with his boyhood club, the club where it all began for the 31-year-old. He struggled to really establish himself in the Everton starting lineup since Carlo Ancelotti took over at Goodison Park, and a return to Southampton with a decent team that's being built under manager Ralph Hasenhüttl, especially given his experience that the club will look to use to help some of their younger players. It might turn out to be a smart piece of business by the Saints for both on and off the pitch reasons. Elsewhere, our penultimate story features Douglas Costa, and he is back at Bayern Munich. Following the collapse of the possible deal to bring Callum Hudson-Odoi to the German Giants, Bayern turned their attention to a former player in Costa who played for Bayern between 2015 and 2017. Since then, he joined Serie A side Juventus and yesterday returned to Bayern on a season-long loan. Costa joins a Bayern side with a lot of wing options, all very much attacking, all very much scary and frightening for any defence to come up against when you consider that he will be joining the likes of Leroy Sané, Kingsley Coman and Serge Gnabry. Bayern's attacking options just went up another level. And we're going to end this transfer talk video by talking about one of the most bizarre transfers to have happened yesterday on deadline day and over the course of this transfer window, because this is well and truly bizarre. Speaking of Bayern Munich in our previous story about Douglas Costa and their attacking options, again, I can't tell you how much of a head scratcher this transfer story is, but Maxim Chuopo Moting has somehow managed to sign for the German giants that are Bayern Munich. Yeah, remember how no one could figure out how his agent managed to pull off that move between Stoke and PSG a few years ago? Well, his agent has once again pulled off another miracle by putting together a move for his client, Chuopo Moting, to join the current champions of Europe. Obviously, no one is expecting him to be ahead of the goal machine that is Robert Lewandowski. And I don't even think he is, to be honest. But having joined PSG and now Bayern Munich, playing second fiddle to the main striker seems like something he's very content and happy with doing. Either way, if there's any player out there, any player at all, regardless of skill level, who wants a big move in the future, hit up this guy's agent, because I have no idea how this guy has managed to pull off 2 major moves to big clubs within the past few years. It's quite astonishing, really. And with that, that wraps up yet another transfer talk video, not just for this entire video as a whole, but also for this transfer window as well. But don't worry, because in 8 weeks' time, the window will reopen again for the January window, the winter window, whatever you want to call it. That will reopen in about 8 weeks' time. So until then, there's a lot of football to be played and enjoyed before players are on the move again. But of course, as far as this video goes, I would love to read your thoughts, your comments, your opinions on any of the stories that I talked about in this video, or any of the stories that I may have missed that also took place on deadline day. They would make for an interesting reading, particularly your thoughts, comments and opinions on anything from Thomas Partey to Edinson Cavani to, of course, the bizarre story of Maxim Chuopo Moting. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another transfer talk for the final time of the 2020 transfer window. And I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video.